We'll start off with the lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. Start off with the lawyer.
Hello. It's Corey and Brian, and we are just continuing along our journey towards living in the same country together. And we took a big step. Was it this month?
Yeah.
Beginning of November.
A couple weeks ago.
We spoke with an immigration attorney, a U.S. immigration attorney. Her name was Lisa Seifert from Seifert Law in Olympia, Washington. And we learned that if I want to move to the U.S. as a Canadian citizen, that we need to work with a U.S. attorney. And so we were able to meet with Lisa over Zoom, and it was for a consultation, and it was basically an opportunity for us to present our case, our situation to her, and get her counsel, get her advice and help. So the cost was, I believe, $350 or $325 US. And that translated to 440 Canadian dollars. And she gave us about an hour of her time, and she would have given us more if we needed more.
Yeah. She was super awesome.
Yeah.
So like before, we had just been like talking with a bunch of different people that have been through immigration, and that seemed to be overwhelming. Because everybody's particular situation's like kind of unique.
Yeah.
And so by actually, we had started off with the other Boundless, and they like rushed us on the phone, and I don't feel like we really got very far with them. Like we had gotten like kind of an answer on like what direction we wanted to go, but we were still like up in the air. But meeting with this attorney, it like solidified the deal. It like gave us like a 3-step process, and this is what we're gonna do, and these are the things that we can expect to come across in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just like that felt fantastic to me.
Yeah, we were able to ask like all of our questions, as uneducated as they may have been, or just like random little worries or random little fears, or like, oh, we've heard this, like, and she was able to like demystify things, and so we both just had like a huge sense of relief after talking. Like she really evaporated all worry.
She did end up saying that if we wanted to continue on with her services throughout the entire process, it would cost like $7,000.
Yeah, and she said that given our circumstances and what we shared about who we are, what our goals are, she didn't advise us to hire her. She said that if further down the road we run into any hiccups or have, more questions, we can book another consult and pay that $325 or whatever again, just to kind of answer questions. But she said everything is available online, and like, here's what you should do.
Yeah.
And so I thought we could maybe share like what we're doing.
Right. Well, some of the specifics of our situation is that, we are leaning towards a marriage visa, and one of the main specifics was that Corey would like to remain able to travel back and forth. She didn't want to come to the United States and just be stuck there, because she has an elderly father, and she wants to be able to visit him when need be at any point in time. So,
and I'd like to continue working and earning an income for as long as I can.
So the route that we ended up choosing
Mm-hmm.
after we spoke with the attorney was
spousal visa.
Spousal visa, where we get married first. She stays continuously living here in Canada, and we will still continue to be able to travel back and forth, but it will make it more complicated for when she's coming over to the States, because she will have to provide proof every time that she's not coming over to the States just to stay because she's married. She's going to have to provide proof of her residency and proof of her employment.
Yeah, and Lisa, the attorney, was saying, like, it might just be time for Brian to be doing most of the travel because he won't have any issues. She didn't think it was impossible for me to go to the States, but she basically gave a fair warning that they may drill me at the border going through customs, because on paper it's like, well, why would you come back to Canada? Your husband lives in the United States. And so we're sort of jumping ahead in that, in order to, well, we're not. It's all kind of happening at once. So step one is to get married. And it was really interesting for me to learn that we can just get married. Just get married.
It didn't matter which country.
Didn't matter where. Didn't matter by who. Just like get married. And the reason for that is once we're married, Brian will be considered family. And Brian will be able to apply for the I-130 visa. So we'll be able to apply for this spousal visa because we are now classified as like family. So after we're married, that's when the visa applications begin. And there will be two forms. One is the visa like application where, you know, he's petitioning for me to come live in the United States. And the second form is the I-130A, and that's when Brian will have to provide all his financial and employment records. So he'll have to upload his tax returns, his current earnings, proof of employment. It's the financial eligibility side of things.
Yeah. So yeah, I would have to provide proof that I would actually be able to afford having her as my partner and her not working.
And that was basically just proving that you are above the poverty line. She said $25,000 was the kind of requirement that they're looking for. Anything above that isn't really deemed as like a red flag or...
Yeah, that was one of my biggest concerns because I'm not making a whole lot of money and just wasn't quite sure where we were going to land on that one. So that was comforting to come across that we shouldn't find any troubles with that.
Yeah, and so we are planning to get married.
We've already scheduled it. It's coming up December 17th. It's popping off, people.
We went and bought our marriage license yesterday.
At London Drugs.
Which is just...
It was hilarious.
We were saying, like, oh, we wish we'd recorded that because we were literally, like, at the customer service desk beside, like, a dairy fridge, like a dairy cooler with, like, processed cheese and
somebody kept coming out with like drugs from the pharmacy, I guess.
Yeah, it was just just a lot going on.
Yeah, it was a whole lot going on. It's like it was like Black Friday weekend, and so it was very busy out there.
So for $100 you can buy a marriage license at your local pharmacy. And so once we're married and once we receive the proper license in the mail, we can go ahead and apply for the visa, and if there's not a definite timeline on that, it seems like it can be as little as like 6 months and up to a year. So we won't really know. And it goes through first it goes through Homeland Security, and then it actually goes through a national visa center.
Which will be another application process, or is it the same application? I think there's several applications. Like one costs like $500 and some dollars.
Yeah, that's the first initial I-130 is
Okay.
a $535 application fee. And then once it kind of goes through that, and we're just going to be updating you as we go along because we still don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
But there is going to be one stage where I have to go to Montreal and actually visit the U.S. Embassy. So the only U.S. Embassy in Canada is in Montreal. And I don't know if that is for my visa or if that is for my permanent residency.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I believe they're doing like an actual personal interview with you.
Yeah, you have to be there in person, which is quite far away.
Right.
It's like, it's on the other side of the country.
5-hour flight or so.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah, but it's all a part of the adventure. So yeah, that's where I still don't fully, I don't have clarity on like the step by step, because I know we do some forms through Homeland Security and then we go through the visa center. And when when we're successful and have the visa in my hand, that's when I can actually move to the United States. But until I actually get permanent residency, I can't work or travel. So it's that period of time when we just have the visa, where I won't be able to return home and I won't be able to work. And from what I understand, it's not a super long period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember that part at all.
Yeah, like for some reason 6 to 8 weeks is in my mind, but that, now that I'm saying it out loud, that feels really short. But it was like a big breath of fresh air to think like, oh, it's not going to be that long. Like I'll be able to eventually work. I'll be able to eventually come back home. It was way less time than had we done it a different way. And yeah, so there's still things like, even as we learn more, like we still are like, what did she say? Or what was the order of things? Or it's a lot. It's a lot of things that are brand new to us.
Yep.
So yeah, step 1 is plan a wedding. Step 2 is apply for the visa, and what happens beyond that is still a little bit foggy.
So I came over on the ferry 2 days ago, and as I got off the ferry, she was standing next to a girl
who's also waiting for someone to get off the ferry.
And it was their first date. Yeah.
It was really cute. So I was waiting, and this girl was sort of asking me like, where do they come out? And she, it was clear to me that she'd never been there before. And Brian came off the boat, and I'm like waving, and we're like smiling. And then I see that she does the same thing, and I look, and she's just like beaming, like ear to ear smile. And she turns to me and she's like, I'm meeting somebody for the first time. And I was like, that's what we did. And we're engaged and we're getting married and it can work. And it's like, it's just like, let me offer you a success story. And they met on Tinder, just like we did.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because where we live, based on like miles or kilometers, we are not far away. And Tinder knows no borders. It doesn't know that we're in completely different countries. So I think it's happening more and more these days. I know in Victoria there's a shortage of good men. I'm sure every Victorian woman will agree. So yeah, our story may be helpful to others going through.
Yeah, hopefully this helps something. And then I think there might be like a comment section or something where people can actually put comments below YouTube video.
And please ask us questions, because you may ask questions that we're like, oh, that is a good question.
Right.
We need to look into that, or we actually may have the answer. Possibly.
Yep, we're working on it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're really excited for the wedding, and it's been funny to plan like a little wedding in the middle of December. It has not been stressful at all. It's been really a really refreshing process. So
Oh boy. Anyways, was that it?
Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't got nothing. Thanks for visiting Immigration for Dummies, and stay tuned for the next episode.
We'll probably be married.
Yeah, we most likely will be married by then. We'll see.
Yay.
All right, bye-bye.